Hi there, my name's Daniel. I'm from Transcona Trailer Sales. I'm going to be walking you through your 2008 Palamino 280 Pony. We are just going to start off the back of the unit here. Just take note of this nice tire cover here. Underneath this tire cover is your spare tire for the unit. Your license plate will just go on the left here. At this corner of the unit, as well as all four corners of the unit, you will have this nice little release strap that holds down the top of your camper. You are going to have to take all these off to raise the roof up, which I'll show you in a second. And also in the back two corners of the unit, you do have stabilizer jacks. There's a tool inside the front door that I'll show you in a second. The splines line up with these splines here. You're gonna run these down to the ground as they are now. Give another 1/8 turn just to firm it up. And it's just gonna take any bouncers for you see we have in the unit right now. And because this is a smaller, lighter trailer, you are just gonna wanna have these down on the ground whenever you are inside the unit, just because it is a little front end light. So if you are stepping towards the back of the unit, it does have the chance of popping up if you don't have these stabilizer jacks down. That is one thing just to keep in mind. These two ports here are just fridge service ports. There's nothing really you're gonna have to worry about here. And then you do have these two connections here. One's being your city water connection. So if you're at a site with service, you could just thread a water hose into this connection here, turn on the water. It's gonna pressurize all the lines, no needing to run your water pump. And then just right below that is just your sink drain. There is no holding tank on this unit. The only thing that's gonna be keeping the water in the sink is this little tap cover here. And then your freshwater holding tank drain is just on the back of the holding tank right here, where that little bolt is. You thread that out. It's gonna drain your freshwater tank. That being said, your freshwater tank fill is just right here on the side. You just loosen this cap off, stick the garden hose in there, you fill her on up. Right next to that, you do have your 30 amp power cord. Most campsites should have this so you can plug right on in, but let's say you're at home or you're at a site that doesn't have 30 amp service, we do include a 15 amp park adapter. That way you can run your fridge. At the front of the unit, just take a note, this box here is where you're gonna house your battery, and then you do have your propane tank right next to that. That's just gonna be your standard barbecue style propane tank, and then you have your tongue jack, and then you have your jack system for your roof, which I'm gonna show you how to use in a second. It's just this tool here. We also store this tool in the door of the trailer where your little jack tool is, and I'll show you that in 1 minute. Then along this side of the unit, you just have some more latches, like I said. This rail here is for an exterior stove, which I will show you how to set up in a minute, and just the propane quick connect is located in there. Always take a note whenever you're running your furnace. This is your furnace exhaust. It's gonna be blowing out hot air. Whenever you're running that furnace, you're not gonna wanna have that blocked with anything because you do run the risk of burning it. To get the roof to start coming up, you're just gonna start cranking this. We might have one of the latches on still. Now that that's off, just start cranking this guy up. Start making its way up. You are going to know your tent is fully extended whenever this little green cord gets tight. So just watching that as you crank. So that guy's nice and tight there now. The roof is open. To slide out each bed end, you're just grabbing these two straps here on each end and just making sure you're pulling evenly. That way it comes out nice and straight. To get it in, it is just going to be the same process. Just pushing it inwards and making sure everything's down on the inside, as you see now. Door opens up. You do your stairs right below, as well as your nice entry mat. The back bed, same thing. You just do have two straps. Now, typically, you are going to want to open the tents up in the first place. Because we're outside, I will just show you that you take the canvas material. You are just going to fold it over each corner. You do have Velcro on the bottom here, and it just Velcros up down here just to seal off that interior space. You Velcro that up, and you do that on each side of the bed, front and rear. Here's that jack tool I was telling you about. And that just hooks onto where those splines are. It lines up with the notches in the thing, and one way is down, the other way is up. And then included is also the same thing I used to raise the front. It's just located right here. If you take a step on inside the unit, you do have a furnace in this unit. The thermostat for that is right here. The further you slide this notch over to the right, the hotter it's going to get. This does run off propane. Keeping in mind of that, whenever you're running this, always making sure that LP detector down here starts going off. You are just going to want to turn off the main supply of propane at the front of the unit. Let it air out, open up some windows. The main output for the furnace is just right here on this right under this countertop. And so if you're going to want to move that air around, getting a fan would be helpful. Right underneath here is your exterior stove I was telling you about. So if you take that out, you can just take note of this rail here. It lines up with this rail on the trailer, and you just kind of got to hook it in. Now, sometimes they are a little finicky. They do like being slid on. There you go, you're on there. Now just keep it in mind, it is secure to the unit, but you aren't going to want to put too much weight on it, as you don't want to rip it off. And then you do have your little stove end here, and it would just connect into this coupler end. To operate this, you do just have to pull the collar back, and it's going to pop that dust cap out. This is going to be the flow of propane. With this closed, it allows you to operate that coupler, so you'd be able to connect it. With it open, as an added safety measure, it is just going to lock it in place, so you wouldn't be able to release or release it whenever the flow is on. And always just making sure you do put that dust cap on whenever you are done, so it just keeps any debris out of the lines, and you just tuck it away whenever you're done. Inside the unit, even once you are plugged in, to get any power running to anything, you do just have to flip this sink up. Once this sink is up, it is going to allow you to turn on the lights, which all are on their own little push buttons on there. To get the canvas tents up underneath the bed, you do have these poles, and it works the same front to rear. You take the hooked end, goes to the back, the round end connects with the center piece of the pole at the bed end, lining those up, giving it a push, pops on up, and then just locking it into place at the roof, locks it in, so you're good. These guys here are just are added safety measures for the exterior of the you do your main support beams. This is just going to be a little added safety in case the winch system were to ever fail. They just go into place with the beam, and you just kind of got to assist it into place. Once that's in, that's added there, and you can close up this little Velcro strap, and it hides it away. Now for each bed end, you do have these guys, which is the double bent end. These guys go in the rear of the trailer, and I'm only going to show one, just because it's a little hard to get them in. And the one with the round end and the bent end goes in the front, so I'll show you that front one first. So it is best if you have somebody give you a hand to put these in, because they can be a little difficult. But the way they work is, this bent end is just going to slide in here. The round end at the front of the trailer is just going to go into that slot there. I just kind of use my body weight to lift that up, lock it into place, and it just adds support to that bed so it doesn't fall on you, and less wear on the rail system. And then at the back of the trailer, you're going to have one end that goes into your bumper here. The other end is just going to go in the same kind of system you had in the front. Locks into place, and like I said, it just supports the weight on that bed. Then stepping inside, This is your main dinette table. That works pretty simply. If you want to turn it back into a table style, just flipping those cushions up with the extent of this one having a backrest. And then at that point, you'd be able to lift this table up, unfold the table legs, and you have a dinette again. But whenever you do go to close the unit, you do just have to make sure this is all flat. Underneath this dinette here is some storage space, by the way. And this side here, even though it's mainly just for service, you do have a little bit of storage space, just being mindful of all these wires and stuff. And this is also how you'd access your inverter. That being said, I will show you this table lift up. Your main fuse panel is just under here. Take this off. Whenever a breaker pops, it's going to sit in the middle, so you just have to turn it off and then back on to reset it. And then you do just have all your fuses on your right. You have your fire extinguisher right over here. That's going to be just like home. Pull the pin and shoot. In the main area here, this little switch here does turn on your water pump, which draws out your fresh water tank, and it activates your sink. Just being mindful, if you have that plug on the outside, this sink will only hold so much water and it won't constantly drain. When it comes time to winterizing, access to your water pump is just underneath this little false door here. You got 2 screws that hold that in. You have your fridge right underneath here. There really isn't any temperature controls for this fridge. It's just one setting. You do have plugs. This one being your main GFI plug. You got test on the bottom, reset on the top. This bed end is going to work the same as the other one. You got your pole for the bed right here. Take it, hook it up to that center thing like the other side. Push it out, and it folds on out, and you're able to lock it into place. Smoke detector on the top. You have a fan above yourself right there. And then just to get the door down, if you just watch yourself, you got 2 little safety latches here. If you unscrew those, undo those, this door is just going to make its way down, and it'll lock into place with that other door, and you'll be able to Velcro it into place with the Velcros on this side of the door, and that's what holds that door into place. And then to get it up is just kind of the same process, minus the fact that you do have to make sure that this little plate here does fold up. Hopefully you're not going to catch your... That goes up, and then it just latches into place like so. And holds itself up again. This door does have to be up for you to close it, obviously. And then once you're done, and this is your outer room right here. And then once you're closing it up, you do have to make sure that everything is laid flat again. And then you just reverse the whole process. That is going to be it for this little unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.